Good morning. Today we are going to be reviewing factors and greatest common factor. A greatest common factor is the largest number that is a factor of two or more numbers. So if you look at the definition, remember factor times factor equals product. So what times what equals what. So if I want the factors of 18, I want to know what times what equals 18. Try and write them in pairs and go in order. 1 times what, 2 times what. That way you don't forget any factors. When you get a number that's already on your list, then you know you have all the factors if you go in order. So 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6. 4 does not go into 18. 5 does not go into 18. 6 does, but it's already on my list, so I know I'm done. Factors of 24. Again, start at 1. 1 times 24. 2 times 12. 3 times 8. 4 times 6. 5 does not go into it. 6 is already on my list, so I'm done. So these are the factors of 18 and the factors of 24. Greatest common factor, greatest meaning biggest, common meaning same. So what's the biggest number that's on both lists? The way you do that is you start at the biggest number and go, okay, does 18 go into 24? No. So then I go to 9. Does 9 go into 24? And I look down my list, no. So then I go to 6. Does 6 go into 24? Yes. So 6 is the biggest number that's on both lists. So my greatest common factor of 18 and 24 is 6. Another way is to use prime factorization, which means make a factor tree. So for example, if I have 20, remember prime means the number only has two factors, one in itself. So you keep going, keep breaking apart the number, what times what equals 20, until I get all prime numbers on my branches. So for example, I started with 2 times 10. So 2 times 10 is 20. 2 is a prime number, so I circle it. And that branch is done. So then I go to 10. What times what is 10? 2 times 5 is 10. Both of these are prime numbers. They have only two factors, one in themselves. So therefore, the prime factorization of 20 is 2 times 2 times 5. 2 times 2 times 5. Notice all three of these are prime numbers. And if I multiply it out, I should get 20. 2 times 2 is 4, times 5 is 20. For the number 24, I started with 2 times 12. 2 is a prime number, so then I break apart 12. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 is a prime number, so then I go to 6. 2 times 3 is 6. Now these are all prime numbers. 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 is going to be my prime factorization of 24. Notice 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 3 is 24. To get my greatest common factor, you make pairs like pairs of socks. So this 2 up here pairs with this 2 down here, and I write it once. This 2 up here pairs with this 2 down here, and I write it once. This 5 does not have a pair. This 2 does not have a pair, and this 3 doesn't have a pair. So my greatest common factor is going to be 2 times 2 equals 4. So 4 is my greatest common factor of 20 and 24. So those are two ways that you can find the greatest common factor. So today we're taking a look at workbook pages 19 and 20. So on page 19, it says select two numbers that have 9 as their greatest common factor. If I look at A, 3 and 9, well, the only factors of 3 are 1 and 3. So 9 is not a factor of 3. 9 is a multiple, not a factor. So I look at each of these and I make a list. What times what is 3? What times what is 18? And find the greatest common factor and see if it's 9. Question number 2. They give you the prime factorization of both numbers. Remember, if it's on both lists, it goes in the middle. If it's only on one list, like the 5, it goes on just the side of 15. So fill in these numbers right here in the Venn diagram. The ones that overlap makes the greatest common factor. So whatever's on both lists goes in the middle, and you multiply those two numbers together, or 1, 2, 3, whatever many numbers are in the middle, to get the greatest common factor. Question number 3. 2/5 of the fish in Gary's fish tank are guppies. 1/4 of the guppies are red. Remember, of means times. So you're going to be taking 2/5 times 1/4 to get your answer. Go ahead and solve 1 through 3 before you go to the next part of the video. Pause your video until you're ready. Okay, question number 4. There are 20 sixth graders and 25 seventh graders in the Junior Scholar Club. For the first community service project, the Scholar Club president wants to organize the club members into equal-sized groups. Each group will have only sixth graders or only seventh graders. Part A. How many students will be in each group if the group has the greatest possible number of members? So this keyword greatest means we're finding the greatest common factor of 20 and 25. So find the greatest common factor of 20 and 25, either by listing factors and finding what's common or by making Venn diagram and a factor trees. For part B, once you find the greatest common factor, you're going to divide. 20 divided by the greatest common factor, how many groups of sixth graders? And then 25 divided by the greatest common factor, you found an A, gives me how many groups of seventh graders. So you should have 2 answers for part B. Question number 5. Okay, you're multiplying fractions. Simplified means what do I get after I cross cancel? So for example here, I cross cancel, I can divide by 5, this becomes a 1. I divide by 5, this becomes a 2. Going the other direction, I divide by 3, I get a 1. I divide by 3, I get a 3. So my simplified expression would be 1 over 3 times 1 over 2. And then I multiply it out, and that gives me my product. So simplified means what numbers am I using after I cross cancel? So cross cancel if possible. If you can't cross cancel, you just rewrite the same numbers and then multiply it. Do that for each one. Pause your video until you've worked out all problems either in your math book or in your spiral notebook. Okay, so let's take a look at, see how you did. On question number 1, A, no, because 3, the only factors of 3 are 1 and 3, so 3 would be my greatest common factor. B, no, because again, you can't have a factor that's bigger than 3, so 3 is my greatest common factor. C, yes, because 9 goes into 18 and 9 goes into 9. D is yes, because 9 goes into 9 and 9 goes into 36. And E is yes, because 9 is the biggest number that'll go into both 18 and 27 evenly. And I made a list for 18 and 27, and notice 9 is the biggest number that's on both lists. For question number 2, the ones they have in common go in the middle. So the 3 on this list plus the 3 on this list go once in the middle. The 5 goes on this side because it doesn't have a pair. This 2 and the last 3 go on this side because they don't have a pair. So my greatest common factor is 3. For question number 3, I have 2/5 times 1/4. I cross-canceled, so I got 1/10 after I multiplied. Okay, question number 4. So greatest common factor of 20 and 25, I listed the factors of each. Greatest common factor is 5. That's the biggest number that'll go into both of these evenly. So for B, 20 sixth graders divided by 5 in each group, you're going to have 4 groups of sixth graders. 25 divided by 5 is going to be 5 groups of seventh graders. And then on question number 5, I cross-canceled and I got 1/3 times 1/2 equals 1/6. The second one, you can't cross-cancel, so this is the simplified expression. And you multiply and you get 6/35. For this one, when you cross-cancel, you're going to get 1/1 times 1/2 equals 1/2. And for this one, you're going to have 1/5 times 1/2 equals 1/10. If you have any questions, email me. Have a great day.